the fact that they were in the divers and underwater rescue team and all that were in that river on the day, and thankfully found absolutely nothing in the part where you would, I guess, have to presume is her last known location. If you take all those things into account, the unlikeliness of it, you would have to sort of say that really the river isn't what happened. And so we always felt that the mobile phone and the harness and everything, it could possibly be a decoy. I mean, again, we don't have evidence.
No, but these are things that you...
This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm 100% convinced it's not the river. People don't just vanish into thin air. It's absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. My plea now is, personally, absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. My plea now is, personally, I want every house, every girls. The only thing is, we just have to find her.
You want to know what happened?
Yeah.
It remains and always has been our priority to find Nicola as soon as possible and to bring her back to her family. Her family continues to be supported by specially trained officers who update the family daily and support them in other ways. Specially trained officers who update the family daily.
I just can't, if I'm being honest, it feels like I'm just stuck in a nightmare. We're going round and round in circles trying to piece together what could have possibly happened. And we've just got to keep such an open mind with everything because we just have no idea where she is. It's like she's just vanished into thin air. There's no evidence to point us in any direction. Obviously, my hope is that she's still out there. Something's happened and she's, I don't know, needed to take herself off for whatever reason. And we just want a home. We need her home. Her children need a home. It's just absolutely heartbreaking.
People watching on, Nikki is a face on a poster at the moment. Tell us a bit about her. What's she like?
Yeah, bigger than you could possibly imagine.
Well, after the break, we'll hear more from that heartbreaking interview with... Take us back to 2 weeks today, that morning of Friday, the 27th of January.
Yeah.
Was it a normal morning like any other?
Yeah, totally normal. So the only difference that morning was, usually, when you've got children getting up on a school day, you probably know yourself, it's just mayhem, isn't it?
Carnage, yeah.
Yeah, absolute carnage. So the only difference on that morning 2 weeks ago was that there wasn't a lot of rushing. I came down and a lot of stuff was already done. It was, the girls were having a breakfast and everything was pretty much ready to go. I came down and Nikki went upstairs to get ready. And then, the routine is basically if Nikki's taking the girls and Willow, when I hear her come down, I'll get them in the car, get them strapped in, get Willow in the boot and all that. And Nikki comes out, give her the keys and off they go.
So it's a well-oiled machine normally. And sometimes you walk the dog and take the kids to school and on that morning it was Nikki's job.
Yeah, and then if it's my job, usually the roles are reversed. Yeah. Again, it was just nothing out of the ordinary.
This is Nicola Bulley leaving home on the day she vanished, setting off on the school run, putting her spaniel Willow in the boot. Her family today released these. Vulnerability affected the investigation.
Nicola's vulnerability has now become a major issue, and it's very detrimental to the family. The family are now in turmoil. The last 24 hours for them have been horrific because the police decided yesterday to release that she was a high-risk misper. Why they decided to do it at that point, I really don't know. What they should have done is done it on day one. Get rid of all the speculation, dealt with it, had a very clear strategy with Paul, how they were going to deal with this. Nicola's got issues in her life. We all have issues in our life. That doesn't mean to say that she is any less vulnerable than anybody else, in terms of the process of what could have happened to her, i.e. third party. Now, I worry that there is a position that is impacted so massively on the family. I also worry, of course, in relation to Nicola, if she is still alive, what's the impact on her to come back, say she was listening to this. But more significantly, the criticism the police have received gives us less confidence and faith in the police service, which is at an all-time low. They got this media strategy totally wrong, and I know that because I've spoken to them in the press department, and they acknowledge that. They've acknowledged they've made major failings. Their performance yesterday was shocking, not only in the fact that they released that she was a high-risk misper at the press conference, and then refused to explain what that was about. How did they think that they could release a piece of information like that, and journalists, investigators weren't going to say, what are you talking about? And as that built up over the day, and when I spoke to the police yesterday, before lunch, and I said to them, listen, I've got information that something has gone on within the family environment, that there has been emergency service at the address. What are you going to do about this? Can you please confirm that that's true or not? And as a result of that, they then, early afternoon, evening, released that information to say that there have been issues in Nicola's life. But we mustn't forget all of that. It is really important.
It comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And in terms of, when you saw Phone, Lead and Willow, you knew who Nicola was.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you knew Willow, that was it, wasn't it? You knew Willow.
I knew I'd seen both the owners of Willow walking this dog in the past, but whilst I knew them by face, like I know your face, I didn't know the name.
But I remember you actually telling me when you saw the Phone, the Lead and Willow, you were like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on it because something doesn't feel right.
I thought somebody gone to the toilet in the, that would have been my friend. I got to about this red brick building here, and I thought, this is not right. And but then there was a conversation, but my wife was trying to ring me, I was trying to ring her. Penny had rung my wife to say that you should fasten the dog up that was.
And Penny was the lady who actually spotted Willow initially and saw the phone, but didn't know what was going on with the phone.
That's right. Yes.
And then after that, what happened?
Well,
what were the next steps?
It was just a progression of things happening. We found out because of the wallpaper on the phone. We found out who the couple were. Then the school was contacted, and Paul arrived.
Dog Willow's been spending a bit of time with us as well, and it's also that thing that Willow may well have seen.
I know.
To Nicky.
I know, and that's another layer of frustration and hell to it. It's a hellish situation with the layer of hell that not knowing what's happened yet, and then also having Willow, who probably does know what happened, but she can't tell us, can she? And she's a very sensitive dog. I did take her back there first thing on the Saturday.
The next day?
The next day, I took her back there first thing.
How did she react to that then?
Well, I was praying and hoping that once we got to the gate, that she would do something different, you know, just to
Take you somewhere.
Yeah, just give some sign of some kind. But she, bless her, she just went through the gate like any other normal day and ran into the field and looked at me excited that she was there for a walk. I was saying to her, where's mummy, you know, and she was just looking at me like, you know, let's go for a walk.
There's been a lot of publicity around.
But the fact that they were in the divers and underwater rescue team and all that were in that river on the day, and thankfully found absolutely nothing in the part where you would, I guess, have to presume is her last known location. If you take all those things into account, the unlikeliness of it, you know, you would have to sort of say that really the river isn't what happened. And so we always felt that the mobile phone and the harness and everything, it could possibly be a decoy. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm 100% convinced it's not the river. People don't just vanish into thin air. It's absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. My plea now